This week, we're reviewing the Game Awards 2025. Join us as we go through all of the reveals, winners, the good, the bad, and the ugly on this week's HGO podcast. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. One of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, is my good friend Hunter. Hey, Hunter, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
Are you? Are you really?
I had a whole day to recover.
Show? Yeah. Originally, ladies and gentlemen, the plan was we were going to do it right away. We were gonna do our reaction straight away, but the show drained us that much that I genuinely had to call it. I was like, no, I'm calling time on this. We're taking a break. We're coming back when we have actually had a decent night's sleep and we've all refreshed and we've recovered from what was just such a boring show. I mean, I think the thing is, and I think this is the worst part about this show, is fundamentally it's like it was just boring. Like it wasn't classic Game Awards bad. It wasn't as good as the last couple of years have been. It's like in this middle no man's land, which is almost worse because there's nothing to mock and there's nothing to enjoy. It was very weird. It was a very weird show. But we're going to talk about it all, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about the Clair Obscur Expedition 33 sweep. Should it have swept? What did any other game pick up? Did any other games pick up awards? We'll talk about it, I guess. And then we'll talk about the couple of reveals that happened during the show as well. So timestamps are down below if you want to move to us talking about reveals later in the show. I just think it's easier to compartmentalize them into little sections of, we'll talk about the actual awards from the awards show, then we'll talk about the ads, okay? We'll get to it. But yeah, if you're new here, welcome to the show, the Stage Show podcast. We're here every Monday at 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern on podcast services everywhere, and at youtube.com/hotgamersonly. Bit of housekeeping for you. This is, Hunter, technically, for a while, the last live show of the year. This is the last show that we're recording 2 days before it goes out. Over the holiday season, we've got episodes every single week, but they're topic episodes and, our usual stuff. Some of it we still haven't recorded ourselves, so it's not that far in advance. These aren't months and months back, but we've got a couple of fun topic episodes coming up. So if you're a fan of making fun of old janky box arts, if you're a fan of talking about PlayStation launches, if you're a fan of talking about, I'm trying to remember the third one that we did. That one's too hard. That one you just have to wait and find out because that's too hard to pitch in a single sentence. But yeah, if you're looking forward to a load of that stuff, we've got a load of stuff carrying on. We don't take a break, except we do. We just hide it with content. It's just that simple. Yeah. On the website, my Game of the Year list is up right now on hotgamesonly.com. Cal's is up as well. It was out last week, and then Hunter's will be out this Sunday. Yeah, it was an interesting one. I managed to cobble together a top 10 games of the year list because I've played 23 games this year now, and that's, if I'm honest with you, Hunter, that is probably 15 too many. But I wanted to talk about quite a lot of them, so that's up there now. Yeah. And then Hunter will be perusing his favorites now and then picking them up and putting them on the website this Sunday. It's really funny. When I got to Hades 2 on my list, I basically just cut it short and went, Hunter will give this game its flowers next week. I don't need to talk about this game that much. So if you want to hear about Hades 2 and other games, go to the website this Sunday. Yeah. I say we dive straight into it. Jeff has wasted enough of our time. I'm not going to waste any more. The Game Awards winners reaction.
I don't know. I think maybe we should just set our opinions on what happened just a few minutes from now.
I know, right? How are you feeling on the winners overall, Hunter? How are you feeling? I feel like
it's about what I expected.
It's about what I expected. A sweep. I've seen a lot of discussion online of should a video game sweep. um award shows, because it's not like you have films that necessarily sweep the Oscars or sweep, the Emmys, because everything can't be nominated for every category. And I think it's an interesting kind of idea, but also you have shows that win like 9 Emmys. Like, like
Yeah.
it happens. Um
Like, the way that people are trying to put a limit on the number of things you can get is a little silly, where it's like, "Oh, if you're nominated for Game of the Year, you should just not be nominated for certain other categories, or there should be a hard number limit," or something like that. I'm like, "Well, you're just being silly," and at a certain point, it becomes dishonest to try and, you know, put a cap on how much how good a thing is allowed to be, theoretically.
yeah, I mean, I think there's plenty of arguments for, debut indie game or indie game, or what should be classified as this and what should be classified as that. Um, if I'm honest with you, I just think there should be I think it's time. I think we've had this format for a while now. I think Jeff kind of needs to, in my opinion anyway, go to the drawing board a little bit. Take a look at some of these categories and go, okay, should we have a supporting actor category as well as a lead? Because they probably should be, because the BAFTAs and every other, gaming award show has it. Do we need a fighting game category every year? Do we need a best sports
Oh,
and racing game every year? Can we, you know, make categories that aren't best ongoing game and best community support, which is basically the exact same category, but like, and have it twice? Like, can we do a better job of, if you're gonna chuck 8 categories in the pre-show, maybe we should think about refining the category list in general.
altogether. Yeah.
So, and it's not an easy task. I don't think, I'm not saying that it's an easy job of just, sacking everything off, but I think it's time. I feel like people are starting to feel it a little bit. Um, it's very weird to me, It's like when you get to best multiplayer and you've got these big battle royales and these multiplayer games playing with games like Peak, and it's
Yeah,
like
it's super
fundamentally
silly.
they're super different. That's like saying best single player game. Like, we don't do that. We have all these
Yeah.
categories for that. We should just be having like best competitive and best cooperative, It should like it's best family. What is that? Like, why do we have a Nintendo award every year? Like, that should just be like,
It's yeah, it's super silly, like,
especially when you're chucking some of them in sports and racing. So it's like, it should just be best platformer at that point. It's just, there's a lot of categories that just do not feel kind of genuine. And I feel like, you know, I'm interested to see how Jeff responds to this year's Game Awards, because Expedition 33, fantastic game.
yeah.
I love it to pieces. But I was sitting there just going, yep, Expedition 33, yep, Expedition 33, yep, Expedition 33. And you're just like,
Yep.
yep,
Alicia's theme again.
Alicia's theme again. Ugh, flipping heck, don't get me started on that, mate. They could have at least, if you knew that they were going to go up 9 times, they could have at least picked a second song Hunter and, play them
There's 4
against each
hours
other.
of OST. They could
I
have picked,
know.
like there could have been a unique song for every time.
Yeah. Um, so it's interesting. I'm hoping that, um, Jeff does take some of the criticisms from this year and does try and improve it next year. Will he? Who knows? I hope he does. I just, like I say, I think it's a very interesting show that you can end up with, a wonderful year like this and have basically every game in Game of the Year, bar what? Donkey Kong got an award as well,
Donkey Kong
and
got an
Hades
award.
and Silk Song. So it's like where you can have 2 of the Game of the Year nominations, not even like pick up a single award. Like, that is mental. The fact that it's like, what are we doing here then? What are we doing?
Oh, Insomniac's just laughing at them, being
Yeah.
like, first
First
time?
time, yeah. But then when you got Donkey Kong that's just sitting there with a family game, which is a gimme award. So it's like, it's not even really like, oh, I digress. I digress.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a nightmare.
Silly.
Anyway, we'll go through them all now. We've got our list here. It turns out, Hunter, that once again, uh, it's down to me to win this again. I am in Jeff's head. We did a tally of all of our predictions. Hunter got 13 correct of the ones that we did. I got 19. I was in it, but it's just because I was putting Expedition 33, Expedition 33, Expedition 33. I read the hymn sheet beforehand. So we're gonna go through them as they were on our list and not necessarily as they were on the show.
Yeah.
I know we missed a couple of categories, but let's be real here. Are we really caring
Best
about best
fighting game.
fighting game this year? Like, are
That
we really
was
caring?
the two competitors there were a game that wasn't fully released yet, and the one real fighting game that came out this year.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we can get some of the obvious ones out of the way as well. Grand Theft Auto being the most anticipated game. Water is Wet. See you next year when it's nominated again because it will be delayed to 2027. Godspeed. Last of Us Season 2, we both predicted. We both got it right. Again, pretty obvious. Best multiplayer game. We wanted Peak. Hunter had the hope for Peak. I put Arc Raiders. It was Arc Raiders.
Yeah.
That game must be so good. It must be
I
so
I
good.
mean, I'm sure that people who like extraction shooters like it.
Normal people like it. That's the thing, though, is it must be so good because usually people dogpile when AI's even sniffing around a video game. But the fact that this game is doing so well with how well known it is that the AI voices are in there and stuff like that, it must be a really good game. That's all I'm saying is people usually would be beating the heck out of it. So
Yeah.
hey, there you go. Best sports and racing, Mario Kart World won. Unlucky Team Sonic Racing fans. Um, again, that category just seems pointless. That was just a Mario Kart gimme, and most of the time it is usually just a gimme.
Yeah, most of the time best sports and racing is either FIFA if nothing fun came out, and then the one fun game that did come out if something fun did come out, like Crash Team Racing or Tony Hawk.
Yeah, or a Mario Kart
And
or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Sim and strategy. Uh, we thought the Alters would win. Hunter wanted Final Fantasy Tactics to win, and Final Fantasy Tactics did win. Congratulations to a nearly 30-year-old video game winning best sim and strategy game of 2025. I don't like this one, Hunter. I'm not gonna lie. This kind of feels wrong.
It's silly as far as like the actual. What did they change about the gameplay?
Nothing.
Nothing. All they did was change it to like dress up the presentation a little bit
Hmm.
as far as voice acting and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't even make it
It's
look that much better.
they blurred it. Yeah, it's like they added this. It's like when you used to use like your PS1
They took away the
emulator on the
scan
PC.
lines.
Yeah, you just use tick the smooth box, and then there you go. That was what they did to Final Fantasy Tactics. I mean, they added voiceover. It's a nice little package of it. It's probably the best way to play that
Yeah, it's
game.
probably the best way to
But
play that game, but it's a game from 98,
yeah,
97.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is like if you remember that year where they were celebrated Dragon, not Fire Emblem's anniversary by re-releasing the first Fire Emblem in English for the first time ever, but it was just
Yeah.
the NES game with an English localization. It's as if that was nominated and won because it's
It's like if
basically doing the
it's
bare
like if
minimum.
Nintendo brought out Mother 3 localized next year and it won games for Impact or something.
That would be incredible. I'm looking forward to it.
I
Um,
the worst part is I could see that happening.
Best family game: Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong. Yep, it won.
They had to win
Um,
something. It's in the contract.
I do want to give them.
Contract.
I do want to give a shout out for them bringing the voice actor for Pauline in to do that 5-second bit of singing there and then walk away. Um, that's the second
My
time Jeff's
favorite
done
part
that.
of
He
that
also did that.
medley.
He also did that for 2017 because the
Oh
voice
yeah.
for Pauline came out and sang "Jump Up Superstar" for 20 seconds and then walked away again.
My favorite part of that medley was I had totally forgotten Donkey Kong was
I know.
still up to go in the
We're breaking. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it would have been
It's
better
a
if she
banger
just
though. It is a banger.
arrived
It
on
is a
stage and
banger.
said, "Zebra, zebra, zebra."
I know, right? Zebra that bat bat. It is a banger, but yeah, unlucky. Uh, Split Fiction in any other family game is the Nintendo category after all. Best RPG, Expedition 33. Expected, I
Uh,
think. Deserved, I think. You know,
yeah.
I've not got any qualms with this.
Yeah, I don't have any issues. A bunch of people making the argument for Kingdom Come Deliverance or whatever because, there's more role playing in that one or whatever. And I'm sitting there like, uh, shut up.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think my favorite part about this show in general, whenever it comes around every single time, is everybody has to sit there and we have to go and explain the nuances of, okay, so what makes an RPG an RPG? And it's just like, oh, here we go
And you
again.
gotta explain the branching paths that Western and JRPGs took
Yeah.
back in the, day and why it's the way it is.
Yeah. And then you just have to sit there and go, just deal with it, you know? Yes,
And then
games can be different.
once you get to the end of the conversation, the people you explain it to don't get it anyway, so it's like,
Yeah. So what's the point?
what was the
Yeah.
point?
Yeah. What's the point? But yeah, I think that's fair. Obviously, Kingdom Come Deliverance, it has just been Insomniac, you know, great game. Other more prominent games have come out since then. It also came out in January. It should, like, genuinely, it's impressive that it's managed to stay in the conversation as long as it has when with its release date. Because
Yeah.
usually those January, February games get swept under the rug really, like, quickly. So the fact that it has, fair play to it. People love that game. Best action adventure, Hollow Knight Silksong. Again, I think that was very obvious.
Yeah.
We both guessed that. We were both right. Um, well deserved.
Yeah, I would say so,
Yeah,
certainly.
totally. Next up, best action game. Hades 2 won it, and we both
Yeah,
predicted it. Um, yeah, I'm
as
happy
it was
for it.
always going to. Glad
Yeah,
they
yeah,
got one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a good category to win as well. So I'm happy that they did. Um, best mobile game, Uma Masume. We guessed Uma Masume. Uh, what else do we have to say other than Gacha horses win? Of course they do.
Yeah,
Um, best debut indie game. We all went for Blueprints, Expedition 33. I
yeah,
Dude, this is the first one where I think I actually do agree with the internet. I think that there should be a rule that it should be it's a developer's first game, not we've gone independent. We've worked at Ubisoft and then I do believe that there should be a Tonda Ross situation of never made a
yeah.
video game
It's
before because we have so many people who have not made a video game before.
like
It's not like
in
until
a
they're sitting there
few,
with two
like in
games.
like 7 years or something, when that Star Wars game that got announced with Casey Hudson. Like, is he gonna be up for that award because that's his team's first game? Like,
It's I just yeah, I feel like,
that's
there are so many games where and it'd be such a good spotlight to have these games that people won't have heard of before. Or, you like you say, every year you have this story. Every year you have a Tonda Ross. You have an Eric Barrow and Concerned Ape. You have a Toby Fox. You have somebody that just comes out of the woodwork, makes a video game for the first time, and it's just everywhere, and you can't escape it, no matter how much you
yeah.
want to.
It's like I said before, I think that they should just change it to debut game altogether, I think is a good way to broaden it. And also maybe smack away the people who, you know, have just reassembled under a different team.
Even with debut indie game, I think it's fine. I just think that it has to be from creatives that have not made a video game before. If you've come from
Yeah.
Ubisoft, you are not a debut game. It makes sense to me. It's like how Was it Megabonk? Which one? Which indie game was it that was like, no, I
That
don't want
was
to be
the
a
one
part
that
of this?
withdrew, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Expedition 33 should have also withdrawn from this. But hey ho,
Yeah.
whatever. It is what it is. It's happened. It won along with best indie game as well. It won that too, which that one's debatable. Again, what class is an indie game anymore? I think it's fair enough. I think that a 20, well, by the end of it, a 32 team, development team is a small, it's hard. It's really hard to determine what these things are. I don't think indie is necessarily a one or two person team anymore. I think there are plenty of smaller teams that should classify as indie, but I don't know, mate. It's a hard one. I think that
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
It's
what's the best
it's
way to go about it, but
yeah, it's a tough one. It's weird too because like, you know, there were some people trying to make this argument for like Baldur's Gate a couple years ago, and I was like, that is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. I don't
yeah.
care if Larian isn't owned by anyone; they still have, you know, that had insane amounts of money behind it. It had the Wizards of the Coast and all of that backing.
I mean, you can make this argument about like almost all of the games that are in indie game. You can make this argument for. I think the only, you look at Expedition 33 and you go, yeah, that's 32 developers. They've got a big publishing deal from Craft. Well, who was it? Kepler that has
Kepler,
Expedition 33. A lot of money. They have the Xbox Game Pass money going into it. There's a lot of money there. It's not, is it a cheaper game? Yes. Still a pretty big game for in terms of an indie development size. But at the same time, you
yeah,
can also say this about Hades 2. Has a big massive check from Nintendo to make it exclusive for 6 months in the
yeah,
development. I love Supergiant to death. But, after Hades, especially after Hades, I'm like, yeah, you're an indie studio, but you're an expensive indie studio. You're kind of, you're a triple A quality under the like indie umbrella, if that makes sense. It's very hard to define anymore what an indie is, other than I guess if you're not owned by one of the big five, I guess you're fair
yeah. It
game.
is.
But
It becomes weird these days, especially because like for a long while, um, indies were kind of viewed broadly as lesser than a lot of the
yeah,
AAA games, and that's certainly not the case this year because
totally not.
they should have sacked the indie category this year and made best AAA game because
Yeah,
they needed the help.
true. But yeah. Anyway, it won it. That's what it is. Best community support, Baldur's Gate one. Again, we'll sit
I
there
don't know
and
what they did. Also, community support, like, never mind that it's a redundant category with the rest of them, but it's also like stupid because you're not gonna know unless you know.
also, yeah, I feel like community support should be 100% fan voted if that's what you're going
Yeah,
for, because
like it's also insular. Like you're not gonna know if Baldur's Gate did any more than uh, I don't know, Destiny this year if you don't play either of them.
yeah, but that's my thing is it's like, oh yeah, what does what does IGN know about community support for video games? What does Kind of Funny? What does GameSpot? It's like that feels like something where it should just be community driven, like Player's Voice, because
Yeah,
I'm sure there's plenty of people in those outlets that do like these games, but it's just going picking their favorite. Basically, it's not there's no actual determining factor here of what made a good community, like what made the community shine from a. It's just stupid. I think bin this
yeah.
category,
It's
Jeff. If you're listening, bin it. This one gone next year. Don't need it. I don't think. Especially if you've got Player's Voice. Player's Voice is basically doing which community is the most dedicated. So scrap it. We don't need it.
yeah, in more ways than are healthy. It's true.
Best ongoing game. No Man's Sky. God bless Sean. He's won it that many times. He doesn't even show up anymore. Um,
You sent someone else to get it this time.
He's got too many. He's got like eight. He's got like eight of them. I think. I think the TSA's onto him. They don't let him in the country anymore because they're like, you keep saying you're coming for an award show and you keep bringing the same award back every time. I don't believe you. Um, but yeah. Uh, Again, that I feel like that's what you keep best ongoing game. That's the game to. That's the category to. You know, keep prior release games in the kind of zeitgeist. I think that's fair enough. I also feel like, though, again,
I think
same
best
5 games every
multiplayer and
time.
best ongoing should like have a strict delineation between each other though,
Yeah.
because like it's real lame to see the same category except Marvel Rivals and Peak and multiplayer or whatever.
Well, I think the separation should be is I feel like in best multiplayer and stuff that you do need to just start. Best ongoing game should 100% be games that did not come out this year, and best multiplayer game should be games that
Yeah,
strictly
just
came
games
out
that
this
came
year,
out.
not including expansions. Expansions should fall under ongoing. That's how I see that, because you have that all the time where it's like best multiplayer, and it'll be like Destiny 2 Beyond Light, and I'm like, that's that's an ongoing game. Calm down. That's not new.
Yeah.
But hey, fair enough. Games for Impact, South of Midnight won this one. That feels like a
Yeah, I was a little surprised. Despalote felt like it was the one in the air, is
yeah.
why I predicted it.
Also, I mean, I feel like what impact did South of Midnight make? I've not heard anyone really talk about it. That's like my thing is it's like even as, somebody who's clued up, it's like I heard people talk about Despalote quite a bit. I've not heard a single person talk about South of Midnight. For all I know, it could be fantastic, but I've not heard a single person talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird category anyway most of the time because usually best ongoing is code for indie games that make you sad. Not so much this time, but
Rest well, don't nod. Unlucky, better luck next time.
yeah.
Tip for don't nod. Why don't you make a fantastic game like Life is Strange Double Exposure? Am I right, fellow gamers? Wow. That just makes me
Yeah.
laugh, to be honest. The slop that is Double Exposure could win this last year, but but
Dude, I think Life is
Lost
Strange only won
Records.
it last year on name alone. Like people
I
just kind
know.
of went,
I know. They
probably.
just go, yeah, that's the gay game that makes people sad. Get it locked in, dude. Get it locked in. Um, Innovation and accessibility. Doom won it. We all predicted it. Life's good.
I was just throwing a dart at a board for that one, so it's nice to see that it showed up.
Best performance, Jennifer English won. I did predict that Jennifer English would win. I wanted Ben Starr to win. Alas, sweet baby Ben. Third time's the charm, buddy. Third time's the charm. May I suggest that you don't
Foiled by Baldur's Gate cast again.
twice, dude, twice. I know. But we got a good gif out of it though. At least we got a good gif.
Yeah, it was a good one.
And to be
To be
fair, I
fair, he
think
seemed
Ben was
more excited
thrilled.
for
Yeah,
her than he would have been if he won himself.
Ben wanted Jen to win it, so
Yeah.
I think it's great. Both great performances. Unfortunately, Charlie Cox was not at the Game Awards. Who would have guessed? Still doesn't know that he's in it. He's still trying to figure it out. One day, bless him. Best audio design, Battlefield 6. Nailed it. I guess Battlefield 6 because it was a boring answer, and there you go. Unlucky Silent Hill, unlucky Death Stranding 2. Kojima,
No,
Jeff flew Kojima all the way out for nothing. Not even a reveal or anything.
I don't know. I feel like that. Kojima was there last year and didn't show anything, right?
I thought he showed a Death Stranding trailer.
Was there a Death Stranding trailer?
I thought that was.
I don't remember anymore.
Anyway. Best score in music, Expedition 33 won. Again, I don't think there's any surprises there. It did feel weird to me that the show opened with them playing Expedition 33 music live. It almost, looking back at it, was just like, yeah, this is the Expedition 33 show. Welcome on in. It kind of felt like it.
It was Renoir's battle theme, by the way. The
I
one
thought
that
it was.
we were wondering about.
But yeah, I love the Expedition 33 soundtrack. I think it's great. I think it's,
It's a
again,
great
one of
one.
the categories that it
Best
deserved to win.
music was stacked this year, to be fair.
Dude,
Like,
I love how
could
people were sitting
could
there
have went
going,
anyway.
I love how people keep saying that going, Mario Kart World was robbed, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, it's not even Nintendo's best soundtrack this year, because Donkey Kong cleared it. I'm sorry, Donkey Kong cleared it.
Yeah.
Zebra, zebra, zebra. That's all we need to know. I don't need to hear bloody
I don't care
Chocolate
how
Mountain for the
nice the
26th time.
remix
Dude,
of
yeah.
Dire Dire Docks or whatever they have
Yeah, yeah.
is in that game.
But yeah, there you go. Best art direction, Expedition 33. I disagree with this one. I think Expedition 33 looks great. I think there is a lot of lovely artwork and a lot of great direction in the design of the world a lot of the time, especially in Lumiere. I do think it's fantastic, but also the game very much also feels like an Unreal Engine asset like pack in a lot of ways. Like there's a lot of the game where it's really intricate and really gorgeous, and you look at the world map and you're like, wow, this is great. And then you go into an area and it does just feel like this is an area that they found on the Unity Asset Store or the Unreal Asset Store. And you're like, okay, cool, I guess.
Yeah, I
Um,
do think there are some, parts of the level design there where it is just kind of open and empty just because.
and
But,
a lot of the stuff in the game is it's got that Unreal look to it. For better or for worse. I think that the I think art as
Mhm.
a category this year again was stacked when you have games like Hollow Knight Silk Song and Hades 2, um,
Death Stranding.
and Death Stranding. There's a lot of good stuff there. I don't necessarily agree with Expedition 33 winning this one, but that's just me.
It wouldn't be my pick, but I'm not like mad at it.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at anything winning. I'm not mad at Expedition
Oh yeah.
33 winning anything really.
Yeah.
I'd rather this win than there be a sweep of like, hey, call me controversial. It's like when Baldur's Gate 3 was sweeping a lot of stuff in 2023, I was more angry with that just because that's a big, big expensive big game. So I'm like, at
Mhm.
least with Expedition 33, I'm like, at least it's a small team sweeping everything here. This doesn't happen that often. Live a little bit, you know? Um Best narrative, Expedition 33. We all guessed it. It's correct.
Yeah.
Um I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I don't really think there's anything I was uh bummed out that didn't make it or over it. Like I wouldn't there's no second choice here, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really interesting about it is like again, all of the games this year from a narrative standpoint were good, but I've talked many a time on the podcast how at the end of Expedition 33, there's like that little bump at the end of the road where it's like, "Oh, you lost me for a little bit." Um and I'm sitting there going, there was a part of me that was like, should it have won Best Narrative because of that little dip in the road where the plot kind of loses its footing for
Right.
a while? But also, like, Hades 2, that original ending was not very good. They fixed it, but, it's like,
Yeah, there would be more of a conversation for me if it was the first Hades that was, hypothetically in the conversation right now, but with 2, I'm more than happy to concede that Expedition 33 had the better story. Uh,
there's a lot of games where I'm looking at that, where the Best Narrative, and I'm like, there were pitfalls in a lot of the games this year, where I'm like, you know what,
you know,
fair enough. There was nothing where I was going to sit there and go, that's perfect. Fair enough. We live our life. Um, Best game direction, Expedition 33.
yep.
Again, I'm fine with it. I think it's interesting, right? Because I think it deserves a lot of praise because it's very, especially when you're working on with a new team and it's a small team, and it's a lot of people on that development team. It's their first time making a video game, so to end up making such a cohesive product by the end of it is something that you have to actually go, hey, props. You've actually done a really good job of directing your team and nailing the vision, right? You've done a good job
Yeah,
here.
having it turn out the way it did with few people and on whatever limited budget they had is like the antithesis to all of these other big AAA games that take, exponentially more time, money, and uh, man hours to accomplish games that aren't even as good.
100%. Again, I look at a lot of the games on this list and I'm like, Split Fiction, fantastic. It's not Joseph Fares's first time doing this. And it's not necessarily that what he did with Split Fiction is fantastic. I love Split Fiction to death. But also, his team's done that before. They're running on they're running like clockwork, they're doing a good job. They're executing it fantastically and it's a great direction. But I can understand why they would give it to something like Expedition 33 because it is, so impressive that they managed to do this with this, ragtag group of French people.
We
Oui, baguette. So yeah, no hate with that one. And then finally, Game of the Year, Expedition 33. Who would have guessed it, Hunter? Who would have guessed it?
really hoping you were gonna take a pause and say a different game for a second, as a joke.
Nah, unlike Jeff, I'm not going to waste 3 hours getting to the point. You know what I mean? There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we said our piece on it. Did it deserve it?
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like it did. But we it was such a boring show from the perspective of I remember Hunter very vividly putting down Expedition 33 in May. By the time I got to finishing it, and I remember putting it
Yeah.
down and I'm going, this game wins Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the conversation for the past 6 months. It's just been, yeah, Expedition 33 is going to win. Like, of course it is. And then you get to the point and it's like, yeah, it had no trouble. There were no hurdles, there was no barrier. There was no, ooh, little shadow, second place is creeping up. It's going to be close. Hades 2 or Hollow Knight is, neck and neck. No.
Yeah, there was, if any illusion like that did exist, it was dispelled by the time the nominations were announced.
Yeah.
Because there was like a brief period of time, in between the nominations and all of those games having come out where I was like, oh, I guess it could go anyway between those three. And then like the nominations came out, I'm like, nah, that's not it. Not today.
No, not
But,
today.
it's whatever.
Yeah. But no.
If you don't like the results of this award show, make your own. That's what we do.
Yeah. Just do it. It's that simple. But yeah, there you go. Like I say. So yeah, winner of the predictions was me. Hooray. I'm going to celebrate by forgetting the show happened. That's how I'm going to celebrate. We can't stop without mentioning, though, the war crimes. How many war crimes were committed, Hunter?
The count over here is 7,
7.
I believe.
Yep. Which, if you wanted to do, indies in the pre-show, that's both the category and one of the big indie reveal was also in the pre-show, which I'm like, we'll get to that later, but my goodness, what a shambolic effect. Hoyo times 2, you do a Hoyo block, you get taxed for every single Hoyo game you show. You show 2 of them, there you go. It's just that simple. The Street Fighter segment.
Oh my god. Contributed to an hour of the 3-hour show.
Yeah, what a tragedy. Tomb Raider is just 86 minutes away. This was Sydney Goodman in the pre-show. At the end of the pre-show said, the reveal of the new Tomb Raider is just minutes away. And then Tomb Raider actually showed up 86 minutes after that point. So that's leading you on a bit, If she was just to have said still to come, the new Tomb Raider, but it's the fact that she went out of her way to say is just minutes away. I was like, it's the first
it was
reveal.
like Tomb Raider. Yeah, it was like coming up soon, minutes away. Tomb Raider and Evanescence or something like that.
Yeah.
That took even longer to get to.
Yeah. Wuthering Waves was also a war crime because it's Genshin adjacent as far as I'm concerned. And then Player's
Yeah.
Choice because Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves and Wuthering Waves won. Ugh, tragedy. Jeff,
This is
have you
what
learned any
this is
lesson
why the
here?
audience only gets 10% of the vote, by the way, because you're
So
given
true.
your voice and you do this.
Yeah, every single year, like clockwork. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are our thoughts and reactions to the winners. But Hunter,
Yeah.
what was revealed? This week's episode of the HGO podcast is brought to you by Zombies Ate My Staff Sergeant. Now, Hunter, this book dares to answer the age-old question. What would you do in a zombie apocalypse?
Follow Hayden Steele as he finds his own answers to the question while he tries to survive the first night of a zombie outbreak on a military base. With plenty of gripping action and twists and turns along the way, you are sure to be on the edge of your seat from cover to cover.
Follow the link in the description down below to get your copy today. And big thank you to Brandon Knight for sponsoring this episode of the HGO podcast.
Yeah, the results are only half the battle. Yeah, so starting at the pre-show, there were a couple of things there. The one that was the most interesting was Bradley the Badger, which was this 3D platformer
Dude, I'm not gonna
looking.
lie. This genuinely was probably my reveal of the show. And it was in the pre-show.
It was a good one, yeah.
I don't know
Oh,
why
there
they
have been
put this
years
in the
where that was the
pre-show.
case for me. Like,
Yeah.
whatever year Have a Nice Death was shown on the pre-show, I don't think they beat that.
But I think the important thing to know about this game is it is Davide Soliani, the guy who directed Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle and its sequel. The guy who is well known for crying when Kojima was on stage, the crying game developer guy from the Ubisoft E3 that one time. That's him.
Oh, yeah.
Um, he, alongside a load of the people from Ubisoft who were making those games, left and formed this studio to make this game. Because Ubisoft was kind of not wanting to make that kind of game at the moment, which is ironic because now they're making a new Rayman. But you know, those the breaks. So yeah, Bradley Badger seems to be a very much a Conker's Bad Fur Day kind of mockery of platformers and you know, a fun little game
Just
where
various video games and popular culture in general.
so yeah, the idea behind it is you're going to be going into levels based on different franchises like Badgerborn being Bloodborne or Cyber Badger, or was it Badger Punk? I don't remember what it was called, but you know, like there's a Cyberpunk level. There's a level based off of The Last of Us. There's plenty of different levels there, and then the whole idea is it's going to be this meta. You know, basically Bradley the Badger gets a hold of the God mode, the dev tools essentially, and so he can
Make
attach
your
himself to
own
gravity,
platformer.
make himself big, make himself small, stretch the boundaries of the world. And there's this weird bit where he goes outside of the game space and seems to be it looked a bit like horror-y, like kind of FMV thing, which looks like a
Had
lot
an
of fun.
Inscription kind of feeling.
And Bradley's voiced by Evan Peters, so you know it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, cool, sounds good to me. I don't know when it'll come out, probably like 2027 at the earliest, but
Yeah.
I'm interested. And score by Grant Kirkhope as well, like Mario Rabbids. So it's definitely on my list of stuff to be keeping an eye out for.
One of the other ones for the pre-show that, stuck in my memory just because of it tricking both of us was that stupid Never Dies game where we both
Oh,
thought it was the Suda 51 game and it turned out to not be.
bro, like Suda51 just like I think what doesn't help is because Suda51 is making a game currently called Romeo is a Dead Man, and it was
Yeah.
a trailer about a dead guy, and I'm like, oh, it's got to be. Why would anybody else be making a Suda51 like video game with a male like zombie protagonist? Oh wait, guess somebody else is. Great.
Yeah, and I'm I'm like oddly curious about this one. It's not
Hmm.
like day one purchase or anything, but uh and I think it'll probably turn out to be a ceiling of all right, but
Bro, this isn't even like
I'm
this isn't a year 5 purchase for me, mate. This is a
yeah,
Godspeed. I hope whoever this is for enjoys it. But yeah, it was rather interesting.
yeah. After that, the first big reveal of the proper main show was Star Wars: Fate of the Old Republic,
Which
which
should have
is
been the
a
final reveal, looking back in
yeah,
hindsight.
no kidding.
If I was Jeff, I would have 100% put Star Wars at the end, moved Control up front, and then put whatever this weird Battle Royale thing is in the middle. That's probably what I would have done, but hey ho.
Yeah,
We'll
that
get to
would
the ending, but
we
my
sure
initial
will.
thoughts on that is, my goodness, they must have given Jeff a crap ton of money, because I don't think even Jeff would have wanted to put something like that as the final reveal. But yeah, a new Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. It leads me to wonder if they've just dis done away with the remake that's supposed to be happening. I know they
Dude,
aren't
that's been in
necessarily
dev
committed
hell for like
because,
16 years, you know what I mean? Like,
but it is cool to see Casey Hudson, creative mind from the uh first Knights of the Old Republic, get to have a crack at this
yeah.
again. I'd be it's like a million years away because they started hiring for it is the word after the trailer came out. So, we might be here talking about this game the same way we're talking about the KOTOR remake in a few years, but I hope not. I hope we get to see this someday.
I mean, Casey flat out said on Twitter, someone was like, can't remember. I can't remember if it was Jason Schreier who was like, don't expect this game until well after like 2030. And then Casey said something along the lines of, it'll be out before 2030 because I have to retire at some point. So it was
Oh,
like, he's not expecting this to be a long development cycle.
yeah.
Um, So that to me screams like 2029. Like, I'm not sitting there going they'll be right around the corner. But it's a cool reveal. I mean, you've got to remember as well, you've got the Final Jedi, the Final Jedi game also in between then, so there'll be a bit of Star Wars to whet your
Yeah,
appetite in
there'll be some.
between.
There was another game announced later in the show to
And there's that as well
also,
if you're a
if
degenerate
you're
that
someone who
likes
only plays Star Wars
pod
games.
racing, yeah, like a weird little freak.
Uh,
Yeah. So, there's plenty of Star Wars going around. This does seem like it's passing the baton though. That's what it felt like to me, was you've had Respawn, doing the Jedi trilogy, kind of bringing Star Wars games kind of back to being good because they weren't for a very long time.
yeah.
You've got Respawn, because Respawn is doing Jedi 3 and then they're done. Like, they're not doing anything else after that. So it's nice to then have another, like, AAA expensive Star Wars project
Thing to look
to,
forward to.
yeah, exactly. But no, I'm excited for people. I don't personally care. I'm not a big Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
Um,
I've not played Knights of the Old Republic
I mean, it's a prequel
yet.
anyway,
It's
so
Yeah, I
you
know.
could,
It's one of those things where I I want to at some point because I like Dragon Age well enough. This is what they
mm,
were doing before that, you know.
yeah. But hey, there you go.
All right, so the next announcement, and at least the next one listed here, I can't remember if there was anything in between, was the Divinity announcement from Larian Studios, good old Baldur's Gate 3 team.
Yeah, is this a safe space? I thought
Yeah.
that was a really bad trailer. I
It
thought it was a
doesn't
really expensive. It was a really expensive trailer, and fair play to them. It was a really good tone setter for what you know to expect. But as somebody who does not care about Pillars, that doesn't care about any of it, doesn't care about Baldur's Gate, doesn't care. All that did was put me off of it because I was like, this is way too gory, way too like kind of grim, like. I don't know. It was very weird to me. Nothing about that trailer was appealing to me whatsoever as somebody who wasn't already in, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
and I'm not necessarily in either. I like Baldur's Gate 3 well enough. And like after that, the two Divinity Original Sin games are constantly trolling my PlayStation wish list for when they go
Yeah.
on sale. But um, like that didn't really do one thing or another for me. Like the Wicker Man thing and the blood that made the evil plants or whatever captured my curiosity, but like I don't think that would have sold me on the game. I don't know what the game really is aside from apparently gratuitously violent.
Yeah, that's all I got from it was. It was gratuitous. I can't even say the word. It was very violent. Very, very violent. Um and yeah, it just screamed generic fantasy to me. That's the
Yeah.
problem is it's like I've had these trailers before. It felt like a Diablo trailer. I've seen this before. I've seen Wicker Man burned alive, ripped to shreds, guy in a guy, while some ladies getting done in the corner. Like, you know what I mean? And that's as PG as I can make it. But you know what I mean? Like, it just everything about it just kind of like I don't know. It was like I thought the Witcher trailer from last year was a much better way of getting people invested into it
Yeah, that actually sold you
because
on what's actually going on in that world specifically instead of fantasy but evil.
and it was still violent, and it was still,
Yeah.
it still had those tropes that you consider to be, very stereotypically fantasy, but I think it just did it in a much more appealing way for new people to get
It
into The
helps that
Witcher.
it helps that they had a central character for that trailer that, is going to be the main character of the game and not just guy chomping on a turkey leg who
And
dies at
even
the
for the
end of the
people yeah.
trailer,
And even for the people
you
who
know?
will scream and go, "Oh no, women!" You still had Geralt in the corner going, "See you on the hunt." So you at least
Yeah.
got them on the hook as well. Like, it was just a much better trailer. The only thing that I will say respect for is I did think it was pretty cool how it ended up that after they'd all been mutilated and absolutely devastated, that was what the statue was that had been outside. I was like, okay, fair play, worked with your marketing team very well, good job. Um, See
Yeah.
you in
I don't
2030
know.
as well, because I feel like that
I feel like I would have liked this announcement more if it hadn't been like teed up with the whole statue thing
I kind of agree.
anyway,
I don't know.
because
Do you
that
think? Do you think they strike gold? Like, if I was Larian personally, I know they didn't want to work on Baldur's Gate again because they don't own that IP, but I don't know if I would have gone back to that either. I feel like I would have done something new. That would have been
uh,
my make your
well,
own IP. That was I don't know. It's a weird one.
the thing with that one is that as far as I think the game will probably be as good as Baldur's Gate 3 or comparable to it because like the thing about Baldur's Gate 3 is that the two Divinity Original Sin games that they made beforehand were apparently that good too. Just
Oh,
no
I
one
don't doubt
played
it's
them.
not good. I don't doubt that it'll be a fantastic video game. I'm just thinking, will people actually go like, I don't think this will be as big as Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, but I think it'll get more people in now, having done Baldur's Gate 3,
Oh,
than it would
100%.
have if they had just made another Divinity game
But I also
after Divinity
think,
Original
you
Sin 2.
know, earlier this year when they were like Avowed is a pseudo sequel to whatever that was it Pillars of Eternity?
Yeah, I think so.
And then instantly, all of my interest went out of the window because all it was just, hey, we're referencing this from the past. And I'm just like, I think you would have been just better off if you had just made Skyrim at home by yourselves. You know what I mean? Like, just make it a fantasy game that was very similar to that, and you're good. And I don't often, I feel like you're giving fans a series that has some baggage to it.
I don't know. I think
It's
they'll
an
have a
interesting one.
decent enough way to balance it out because, like, they went into the Baldur's Gate series with, the predetermined things that had already happened, and they did well enough that, like, I only played 3, so I understood that some things happened before, and I got the point of, oh, like Jahira here is from the other games. That's cool. But it never felt like it mattered that much if I knew one way or the other.
We'll
Like they
see.
got the point across without making it
We'll see.
too
We'll see.
silly. Oh, next up was uh for loop is apparently how that catastrophe of a logo is supposed to read.
Yay,
This is the one with
Concord
J.J. Abrams.
2.
Oh, that's not till later. This is the one with J.J. Abrams and the Left 4 Dead guy. Uh, this did nothing for me.
No,
Um,
nothing. It's once again, um, as somebody who suffers from dissociation, like I'll just be in a conversation sometimes and my brain will just go, no, I've had enough of that. I'm just gonna stare into the abyss real quick and think about that instead. I just feel
the most
myself more and
memorable
more
thing.
dissociating with PlayStation when it's like, oh yeah, they're doing a Left 4 Dead thing with Bad Robot and the guy. I'm like, no, no one asked for this. Like, genuinely, no one from. I wasn't sitting there going, Mr. PlayStation Studios, can you please make a Left 4 Dead?
To in a small defense of this, I think if they had started their stupid live service push, multiplayer push with going to people and asking them to make them some multiplayer games instead of offloading all of their good studios to do it,
I mean, that's what they
that would
were
have been a better
trying with
approach. But
Haven.
now it's in too deep,
I
where
don't
it
know,
doesn't
mate.
really matter what they do anymore. It's all gonna be bad.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it comes out. We'll see what it's like. Like I say, I'm interested to again. It's like I'm interested to see how it does. I sit there. I do worry for PlayStation. Not in the sense of
Yeah.
I don't worry for them in the fact of them making money. I worry from them in the fact of kind of losing the zeitgeist a little bit. Just like in the, we're sitting here and we're going, oh, Jeff's like, well, we had Intergalactic last year. And I'm like, yeah, and we're going to be waiting for that till 2028. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, genuinely, like, I'm looking at Herman Holston. I'm going, what are we doing? Because I swear to God, if you come to me next year and all you're going to show me is Horizon multiplayer, Horizon 3, and I don't know, bloody Marvel Spider-Man 3 teaser at the end of Wolverine, like, I'm going to scream. Like, that's, I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there and I'm like, not even the God of War Metroidvania that's been rumored. I was expecting that at least, a little tease of something.
I'm not convinced that that's real anymore.
Like, it definitely is. Too many people have spoken about it, but
Oh,
yeah, it's a weird one. But hey, we'll see what happens, I guess.
oh, speaking of PlayStation, Bruce Straley had the good sense to get out while the getting was good, and he made his own studio called Wildflower Games, and they debuted the trailer for their first game here. Coven of the was it Coven of the Chicken Foot?
Yeah, Coven
Yeah,
of the
Coven
Chicken
of the
Foot.
Chicken Foot.
It's basically what if The Last Guardian was an old lady uh and a random monster instead of Trico and little boy. So
Yeah, I'm into
it
it. I
looks
think it looks
yeah,
neat.
it looks neat. I mean, I always wondered what happened with Bruce. It looks to me like how he's been talking in interviews that yeah, it very much wasn't an amicable split. Um
He's like, he probably wanted to make something like, silly and lighthearted again.
yeah.
And the rest of Naughty Dog was like, no, only serious. we've
Yeah,
we've grown up.
we've grown up apparently. Um but yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's an interesting little game. We'll see how it does, what happens with it. It's interesting.
Yeah. The next one on the docket here was Ontos from the Soma creators and also one of the devs for Amnesia the Dark Descent
Mhm.
back in the day. This trailer was really cool. I am interested in this one. Soma was really good, and that game came out like just about 10 years ago. So I'm interested to see what they have up their sleeve this time. it's like happening in the I think it was a hotel on the moon or something crazy like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I think this one will be good.
Yeah, same. I no interest in it, but looked like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm like, "Yeah, looks interesting if you're into that."
Yeah. Next announcement was the admission of the worst kept secret in video games since the Oblivion remake. Leon Kennedy is in Resident Evil Requiem.
What? Really? What gave it away, Hunter? What gave it away? Was it the PlayStation Store leak 1? Was it the PlayStation Store leak 2? Was it the fact that when you paused the little random flickering letters that were at the end of each trailer, it always said Leon, but no one noticed? Like, which one is it? How would you know? It like
Yeah,
it's cool, and I'm excited that it's finally out there because now we can stop acting like it is a secret that
honestly, I
half the
do think
game's
that
been hidden the whole
I
time.
do think that they should have gotten ahead of this way sooner, but it's better that they did it now instead of trying to keep it a secret the whole time. Because if Leon had, if let's say it did actually manage to be a surprise, I still think that probably would have felt kind of rug pulley from Grace's story. So
I think what's interesting is, and it's like, here's the thing, right? Some people knew that Leon was going to be in it. Some people knew more. Some people knew less. Whatever, right? And it's like, I have been keeping up with it for a while now. So it's like, I've known for the past 6 months that Leon is like half of the game.
yeah,
And the fact that they were so adamant on not showing half of the game for this long, I've got to respect them because Resident Evil Village, they showed too much. They showed the whole flipping game.
go entirely
So
too much.
I'm to be fair,
Although
I'm
they
like,
still managed to convince me that the game wasn't quite what it was, because I was under the impression I was going to be hassled by Dimitrescu for way longer.
yeah. So I'm like, fair play. You've managed to hide this half of the game. Don't drop the ball now and just show too much. But it's like,
Oh my god,
Leon
only 2 months
is.
to go. I think they need if they managed to do that, that'd be insane.
But I do find it very interesting because, like I say, Leon is over half. Well, it's not over half. I think he's roughly like he's just slightly, I think, over half of the game. But it's a very interesting, like, why do you why do you think they were so eager to rush Resident Evil 4 remake? Not rush it, but why do you think
Yeah,
they were so eager to get it out as quickly as possible? This is why. Um
yeah.
I'm interested to see what they do with it. I'm interested now that the elephant is out of the elephant's no longer in the room. We've managed to escort him back out into the field. Can we not fill it with a second elephant of a leak, please? That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Because the people
But
who
yeah,
have known that Leon's in the game have done a wonderful job of going, I'm not telling you anything about the story. Just know that he's in there. And now Capcom have gone, he's in the game. And I'm hoping that's where we all draw the line and then we can get to February and all experience it together like,
reasonable adults.
reasonable adults. Yeah.
It was a good trailer too. I think what they showed of him being, the more action centric kind of thing looked really cool. I like the one he like stopped the one zombie from approaching and like shot him right up the jaw or whatever. I thought that was cool. I think this one has the makings to be my favorite of like the modern games. Not remakes notwithstanding.
It's an interesting one, right? I think that they're trying to blend the two worlds together, and I think it's a really smart way of doing it. I think having one character, they've directly said it in interviews after the Game Awards that the whole idea is Grace is Resident Evil 2, Leon is Resident Evil 4. Like that's the
Yeah,
kind of gameplay. And the quote that they're using right now is Grace is the most scared character in Resident Evil history. She is, has the worst time out of it, and Leon has been through this enough now that he's just drop kicking people like it's nobody's business. And I kind of
yeah,
like that kind of juxtaposition of having those two characters. And I'm sure that they're going to do a really good balance of having you do this really intense bit with Grace and then let you kind of get your stress, get your vent a bit with Leon and then go
yeah.
back and, go backwards and forwards. I really do think that this game has the potential to be one of the greatest Resident Evil games of all time. I really do.
Yeah, I you know, all of them with Leon tend to be the better end of them. So
And from what I've heard, Capcom is the reason they have left this so late is they are extremely cocky about this game. They're really
yeah,
happy with it.
yeah, all right. And
So
why wouldn't you? They've been on a roll for like nearly 10 years. So
yeah, I'm interested to see, like say, we'll see how they do it. I hope, it's it's so weird because when you think about it, it's like they've brought people back. Chris was in 8 and stuff like that, but they haven't properly done this since
yeah,
6.
like yeah, which
Is not a
yikes.
good showing. Yeah. But they've not done this properly since 6. This is the first time a classic Resident Evil character is properly a main protagonist again in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
You gonna get this one when it comes out? Or you still gonna just observe from a distance
I'm like
happily?
50 I'm like 50/50 on it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like 50/50. I'll see how I'm feeling at the time. The idea, I love Resident Evil 4. So the idea of half of the game being Resident Evil 4 again, I'm kind of like maybe I'll give it a go. I think what I might do is because I own Resident Evil 2, I might play a little bit of Resident Evil 2 beforehand, and if I can deal with Resident Evil 2, that's probably where I'll be like, okay, if I can deal with Resident Evil 2, then I'll probably be able to get through the grey sections of 9. Is probably what I'll
Yeah.
do. Um, we'll see. Also, because I can play in third person, I think I'm fine. Whereas I was very adamant against playing 7 and 8 because of first person, because I don't like first person horror
Yeah.
games. So
Yeah, that's fair.
we'll see. I also want to
Uh,
say, remember what they said about 9 Hunter. You can play the game in first or third person, your choice. How is the Leon action sequences going to work in first person? That's what I want to know. How's drop
I
kicking
don't
people going to
know.
work in first
Like
person?
they must have found out a way to do it with like they've got the VR version of RE4.
They have, but also you're already you're already, suspending your disbelief here because you're with a VR headset on going whack, whack, you chainsaw.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. We'll find out. This to me suggests that the idea originally was play Grace in first person, Leon in third. That would have been my guess, is that's how they were planning to do it.
That does probably seem like that feels like that's probably the intended version for each respective campaign is first for hers, third for him.
They said that was an option. There's first person,
Yeah.
third person, and story dependent, and I think story dependent just meant Leon's in third person.
Yeah.
Because
All
who
the
doesn't
cool
want
action
to
that you hope to see, you can actually see it.
chainsaw, chainsaw? Anyway,
Anyway, the next announcement we got was the new game from Jonathan Blow, the creator of Braid and The Witness. This game got puzzles for days.
hmm
Uh, I'll give it this much. It seems more interesting to me than The Witness was the couple of times I've tried to play that. But also, it seems like there's a whole lot of it in a way that I don't know if I have it in me.
yeah, I think the thing about puzzle games is in my head, I need them to be like 10, 12 hours max. You know what I mean? Like that's like Portal 2 is like the perfect
Five to
puzzle
six, even
length.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, like Portal 2 is like the perfect length, like 8 hours, 9 hours. Like the beauty of Blueprints is that yes, the game goes on. You can literally play that game for 95 hours if you want to and still not figure out everything. But the game has a good stopping point where it's like, hey, if you master Room 46, congratulations, that's the tutorial. If you want to go further, go for it. If not, you still feel satisfied because you did it.
Yeah.
So we'll see, Hunter, if it does manages to do that and go, hey, look at all this stuff that's here, but there is a succinct experience inside of it. I'm doubtful.
Yeah.
This guy made The Witness, but
Yeah, yeah. No kidding. Honestly, I don't know if I just never knew this or if it's something I learned and forgot, but I forgot that Mr. Braid and Mr. Witness were the same person.
same, but
Um, Uh, but yeah, I think if nothing else, the puzzle freaks will be satisfied by this one.
I
Uh,
think the puzzle freaks have been satisfied a bit too much recently. I think the puzzle freaks need to calm down, but that's just my opinion.
yeah, the next thing after that, we had Wizards of the Coast block with Exodus being, I don't know, some kind of game based off of one of their sci-fi
That's
IP that,
nice.
yeah, it looks like Mass Effect because Mass Effect won't come out. um, and then the next one was just a very aggressively fidelity rendered trailer of this other one called Warlock.
Yeah,
It showed you some character art.
it
She's
did
got cool
nothing
eye
for me.
markings.
I was having a great time enjoying everything that it had to offer. Um, yeah, I don't care about this stuff. It's like I know there's a lot of people that must care. It's like when Warhammer comes up and everyone gets excited,
Yeah.
and I just like I don't have that gene in me. I don't have it.
Yeah, it's just
I
it's
feel
not
like it's
me
like some
either.
people have the Warhammer gene, some people have like the Doctor Who gene. That's my kind of like, spectrum kind of fixation. People have them. I feel like
It's the
people,
video game equivalent of cilantro tasting like soap.
yeah, dude, it's like everyone has that kind of fixation. And I'm unfortunately, no, actually, I'm not saying unfortunately, I'd much rather like Doctor Who, but it's like, it's not for me. It's not for
Yeah.
me. Don't really
That
care.
doesn't do anything for me either. But next up after those two, we had Control Resonant. And this trailer
Yeah,
looked pretty good.
it did.
The gameplay seems to be taking a different turn than what Control had going for it before, but I'm not opposed to it. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I
Dylan has
mean,
a big hammer.
I'm I'm like I'm 50-50 on it. It's like I don't know, to me anyway, it's like Control is like the perfect kind of Jedi Force game like ever made, grabbing people, throwing people. And because you have a gun, you're not a lame Jedi with a sword. Because you've got a gun, you can yank people in, bang, 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 throw away. Like, you're just having fun, like doing stuff. And I don't know, I just liked the gun aspect to it a little bit. I just liked that. So it's like, um, from the little bit I dabbled, I was like, "That's sick." Just like being able to throw people
Oh,
around
dude.
and do stuff. I'm like, "That's cool." And then it's like, "Oh, he's got a big ass sword." I'm like, I don't know if I've just got like sword combat burnout recently, but it's just like I'm like, bro, I kind of liked the gun. I'm
Oh,
sure
but
it's
he
gonna
also
it's
has
it's
a hammer.
Remedy. It's gonna be a good
Yeah,
game. It's gonna be
they'll do something to make it
fantastic.
cool anyway. I think more
They'll make it
importantly than
cool.
the gun in Control was all of the ways they made the powers around it interact.
Yeah.
Like, the gun would be substantially less interesting without the telekinesis and floating that you get and
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
that. Like, the sequence near the end of that game where they just let you go in with everything you have at the end was fantastic. And I expect them to have a similar one when we get to the end of this. I was shocked to see that it says 2026
That ain't coming out next
at
year.
the end of
It
this.
ain't coming out
Yeah, I
next year.
do. I don't think it is either.
I think it definitely isn't. I think especially after the kind of the FUD that was FBC, I feel like they might want to spend a little bit more time on it to make sure it's like it's interesting. Again, it's like I'd move this to the start of the show because I think this would have been a great opener for Keeley, if I'm honest with
Yeah,
you. But also, I feel like we as like a collective of game enthusiasts kind of we sit there and we go, "Oh yeah, Control, sequel to a fantastic game from the guys that made Alan Wake and Alan Wake 2, fantastic games as well." They're like they're critically beloved games, but they haven't, even Control wasn't a fantastic seller. So it's like you're sitting there and you're like,
yeah,
man, like this should bring it to the front, get people excited, man, because I feel like, middle of the show announcement is like, yeah, we're all like, yeah, one of the highlights for me was Control too, obviously, but like Normie Andy, he's given up after the first 4 trailers. Get it in there early,
yeah. That's very true. Get it in early. Make people curious about it who don't know about it. That way they can go and Play the first one, play that,
Yeah.
have a grand old time, and be ready for this next one.
Yeah, because Remedy deserves it because they make fantastic games. It's just for
They
whatever
do.
reason, the hardcore people buy them, but nobody else does. So it's like, yeah, get in there. So we'll see. I don't think it's coming out next year. I just don't.
I would be shocked. Yeah,
Um, I'd
but
love to be proven
who
wrong,
knows?
but yeah, who knows?
They are really good at spinning the plates over there. They got projects out the wazoo that they're always moving
Yeah,
around.
yeah, totally.
Uh, Next up was Gang of Dragon, which is the non-Yakuza game from the Yakuza creator.
I love that the Yakuza guy was like, "I'm out of here. I'm gonna go and do my own thing without Sega," and he's literally just making Yakuza again. I'm like, you gotta kind of respect it just a little bit. Um,
Do you do you think that like the push to change the direction of the series came from Sega or something
yeah,
then, and that's why he left?
yeah.
Because otherwise, I struggle to imagine why he'd just be like, "I'm gonna leave
What
and I'm gonna make the exact same thing."
I've got a big guess for you, if I am correct. I'm just gonna check. Yeah, 100%. My guess is that it's 100% a Sega push, and I think that unfortunately, ironically the Persona background's on in the background. I think Persona has a little bit to do with it. I
Yeah, that
think
would track.
I think Yakuza 0 was huge when it came out in 2017, and they're like, "Oh, we've got a franchise here, Yakuza 0 is popping off, and then Yakuza 6 was coming out." It's like, "Oh, this is fantastic." But I bet you they were like, "Oh, but Persona 5 is kind of, doing numbers, people love it. Can we make it more accessible?" Because I bet you in Sega's head, they were like, a turn-based RPG is more accessible to people than a kind of beat 'em up brawler. And
Yeah, which is an interesting.
for the
I
Yakuza,
can understand why you would come to the conclusion off of the back of Persona, maybe, but it's also a hilarious conclusion to come to.
yeah, 100%. Um,
Yes, turn-based RPG is gonna be, be what brings the people in.
I mean, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna lie to you. I have played through the entirety of the Kiryu arc now, and it's like, yeah, I'm kind of especially if you're like me and you've just played them, you've played, 7 games in the span of, 4 years or 5 years, it can get a bit stale. You're like, "Yeah, okay, I
Yeah,
can understand it." But also, I'm not sitting there going, "Oh, do you know what I'm begging for? I really hope the next Yakuza game is a turn-based RPG hunter, and I really hope it's, 100 hours long instead of 20." That's my dream.
Y- yeah. This is like looking at a game, some kind of action game, and be
Mhm.
like, I really like this, but I hope the next one's a roguelike or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, who just thinks of that? Why?
To me, the whole and I haven't played Yakuza Like a Dragon or Infinite Well, so I can't really speak for them yet. Um, but I do sit there and I go, that screams to me like, when they're doing like Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii and stuff like that. Like that's when you
Yeah,
do the turn-based random, oh no,
it's weird that the thing that
Goro Majima's got amnesia and he doesn't remember how to fight, so now he has to think before he moves. So it's a turn-based RPG, like stupid gimmick like that. That's what you'd
yeah,
expect.
it's weird that the spin-off has the gameplay of what the series used to be instead of
Yeah.
like the spin-off being the new experiment.
So yeah, it's interesting, but it worked. I mean, Like a Dragon and Like a Dragon Infinite Welfare have been extremely successful, so it's worked for
Yeah.
them. Um, but yeah, I assume that he was just like, no, I want to kind of just make the games that I used to make, and now he has gone and done it. Um, I guess the only bad thing is, if I remember correctly, is this is Tencent funded. So
Uh-huh.
that's the only bad thing is, it's another thing
That
with
explains why
Tencent
they have
involved.
Wong.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. Um. It is what it is. I'm interested, but also it's like I'm already committed at this point to regular Yakuza. If you're just gonna give me Yakuza again, I'm like, better be a little bit different, Better have something different
You're
to
like,
it.
maybe I'll invest in you after I've caught up on the series.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it won't be out for a while
Yeah.
anyway. Gang of Dragon or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Um After that we had the Street Fighter fiasco, followed by Lego Batman, the Dark Legacy of the Dark Knight, which I stepped away from to like go to the bathroom or something during that trailer.
Yeah, it looks good. I like what they're doing. I think it's a cute kind of premise, is taking um the history of everything Batman. So comics, movies, games, and kind of mishmashing it into one entire narrative of the legacy of Batman and the Dark Knight. I think it's really cute. You know, you've got Heath Ledger's Joker, you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze, but you've also got like the new kind of Catwoman from the Batman, and you got Arkham Asylum as a part of it, like the games, and it's just like it does just seem to be a big love letter to Batman as a character and as a universe, and I think that's pretty cool. I like it. I'm I respect what Traveler's Tales is kind of doing with Lego games now. You know, they've already announced that there's only like 8 playable characters in this game, but they've all got their own unique move
Oh,
sets and
nice.
stuff like that. They're going more for using Lego, um, you know, just to kind of express the world and how they're doing it, instead of it just being, you know, here's
The same
700
move set
characters that
with
all play the
800
same.
skins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I've seen a lot of people arguing online. The game's $70. Should a Lego game be $70? I don't know. I haven't played it, but yeah, I'm interested. This is one
I
of
don't
those
know, you
games,
Lego freaks
Hunter.
are paying way more for, like, the actual Lego sets, so
Exactly.
sit
But
down.
yeah, this to me screams like the kind of game where I want to play this game, but I probably won't pick it up straight away. I probably will pick it up on Black Friday, or something like
Yeah.
that when it's cheaper. Looks good though.
Yeah, it does seem like. Then finally, after being promised for 86 minutes, we got the Tomb Raider trailer.
Oh, thank
So,
goodness, just a few more minutes, guys, just a few more minutes. I'm just checking our clock, 86 minutes. We're roughly at 81 right now. We still got to it quicker than Jeff did. Um, Congratulations, everybody. Yeah. It's interesting. I think it's an interesting thing what they're doing with Tomb Raider. So essentially, they're trying to unify the timelines, is what they're calling it, which I think is interesting. So they're doing a reimagining of the first Tomb
yeah,
Raider, which kind of links them together because it's insinuated that this Lara in the from the remake trilogy is that one that's doing the reimagining of Tomb Raider 1. She's got the same scar on her face. They're trying to,
yeah.
unify the timelines a bit here. And then the new
I
game
don't think
is
they need to
set,
do that.
I know, but then the new game is set after, is it Underworld, which was the last like main proper Tomb Raider game? So
I
it's
think
like,
I think Underworld would be the last one before 2013. Yeah,
so they are like they're doing this reimagining of one to try and make it a bit more cohesive for people that maybe have only played the remake, the new intro, the new story of Lara Croft, and then going straight into it. I think it's an interesting way to do it. I don't think they needed to go to all this effort, but hey, do
I
what you want.
like. Yeah, I remember saying at the time that the trailer for the remake sold me more than the trailer for the new game, which is funny.
Which
But
I think it's funny, but I also think, say the remake is coming out in the next 6-7 months, that makes sense because the game's probably close to being
yeah,
done.
yeah, it's more imminent. That other one. That's not to say that I don't think that this other one was like a bad showing or anything. She has a
No.
grappling hook now, which is neat. If they let you jump around on those pillars when the whole
Yeah, yeah.
rising whatever's going on is actually happening in the game, that would make for a really cool sequence. But yeah,
I think, I'm looking forward to it. I definitely will probably be picking both of these up, to be honest, especially if I
yeah,
do like the remake, the reimagining,
yeah,
then I probably will. I like what they're doing. Um, they're going back to, I'm hoping they're going back to the more kind of tongue-in-cheek Tomb Raider, you know, especially now that we live in a post-Uncharted world where, you know, a Tomb Raider game can come
yeah,
out now and people aren't going to compare it to Uncharted because Uncharted hasn't released itself in what will be 8 years at that point.
yeah,
Um, I think that there's a really good, they can just do a really fun adventure game.
yeah.
They can go for Uncharted now. They don't have to be, oh, it's Lara Croft, but she keeps falling over and screaming every 5 seconds. They can just do Lara
Better
Croft's a
better win this
badass
quick
now.
time event, or she's gonna get impaled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but I definitely like
yeah,
the
go for it.
trailers more in practice than in theory. Like, I remember when you first brought it up, I was like, but I was pleased to actually think they look alright.
And it's been 6 years, 7 years since the
Yeah,
last Tomb Raider game. When was Shadow? 2018 or 2019? It's been a
it was
while.
2019, yeah.
Yeah, it's been 6 years. So I like that it's coming back. I like that it's coming back for the 30th anniversary. I like that they're kind of just doing the Todd Howard kind of Fallout 4 method of just going, look, here's a game, and it's coming to you probably within the next 6 to 7 months. Um,
Yeah.
I'd say that this game is coming out at the very latest in September. That is how confident I am with this game coming out pretty soon. I think
I think it
it's
would make for a really good summer game.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'd eye up that kind of Uncharted spot, that kind of April May time. I think that'd be a really good time for it, but we'll see. Um,
yeah,
we'll see. I'm excited.
yeah.
This is what
The next
happens,
announcement
Sony. You see, if you'd
was
announced a new Uncharted, I'd kind of be excited for that. I'm not gonna lie. There's been enough time. It's like with Arkham. We were
yeah,
sitting there going, "Oh, I had enough of these Arkham games. We get one every year." And now that there's been a gap, I'm like, if they announced an Arkham Hunter, I'd be a pretty happy
yeah.
bunny.
You gotta give us time to miss it,
Yeah, I think Tomb Raider's
and then,
done that.
bring it back is the,
I
missing part
hate
of the
Shadow of the Tomb
equation.
Raider. I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider is an awful game, and I'm still excited for the next one. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. After Tomb Raider, we got The Forest 3, or just Forest 3. Apparently, there's no article at the beginning. Sons of the Forest has still not come to consoles, so I played the first one with my siblings for a little while because it's the kind of thing that they're interested in. Um, and then 2 never came to consoles, so we never played that one. And I guess maybe it just flopped or something if they're coming out with a third one so quickly. Like, the turnaround is really quick, it seems.
Yeah, I feel like horror games, like these kinds of things, do always come out quicker than you'd think. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like the horror genre is very similar to the horror movie genre in that usually they are cheap and quick to make a lot of the time. So I feel like, you end up going, what? Another Five Nights at Freddy's? But they just, I think they're just easier to pump
Ideas
out.
that are good twice at best. Go
Yeah.
on.
But yeah,
Like
another
10
Forest
installments.
game. I'm very
Seem
indifferent
to
towards it. It
yeah,
looks
like
it looks like they're
doing some
going
kind of
very yeah.
sci-fi thing instead of just stranded on an island with cannibals. So, neat, I guess.
Nah, I guess. I think it is what it is.
The next thing was the Invincible fighting game that is going to be a pity nomination for the next year's Best Fighting Game award.
Yeah, it's number 5 on that
Uh,
list.
and
Um,
that's
yeah.
the extent of my opinion on that one.
It looked really bad. That's my opinion. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Welcome back, Jump Force.
We barely missed you.
Yeah.
We would not
The
we'd
next
not we'd
one
not be
was
excited for that if it came back, Hunter. We would not be
no,
thrilled about
no,
that.
definitely not. The
Mhm.
next one was Orbitals, which was the Switch 2 exclusive like co-op anime aesthetic game.
Yeah, we've got It Takes Two at home, but it's a 90s anime.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I don't know. It's like I'm like it's fine. I think there's a charm to it, It's like I went to a friend's place the other night. Well, it was last night technically. He was having a bit of a housewarming, and he put on the 1986 Transformers movie. Um, this is the one that famously where Optimus Prime dies in the first like 5 minutes. The first, and then he does not come back. He does not come back. And apparently it traumatized a bunch of 11-year-old, like 10, 11-year-olds at the time. It was like an infamous movie because
Yeah.
they stopped selling the toy, so they killed him off, and they didn't realize what they did. But someone who doesn't like Transformers and never cared about it, I'm watching this film and I'm like, there is just something charming about like 80s, 90s animation. You know what I
Dude,
mean? Where
old
it's just
anime
like,
looks awesome as far as like there's a sauce in like 90s anime OVAs that was lost sometime. It's like old knowledge that we don't have anymore.
dude, even just like 80s, 90s animation, there's just something about it that is just very kind of charming. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, this looks fine, you know. Um, I think that game's going to heavily be using that art style as its crutch because I'd be very shocked if it
Very
has
well.
anywhere near the level design chops as a Haze-like game. But who knows? It
Yeah.
looked fine.
It'll be funny because it seems like we've got a bunch of these co-op only games coming out in the coming years. It'll be funny to see if a Lies of P, for lack of a better comparison, shows up where it's the one that isn't Haze Light that's better than the rest of them.
Maybe,
Yeah, maybe.
maybe.
After that was Diablo expansion. You can play as the Paladin. That's coming sometime next year. There was a really bad CG introduction on the stage to this extremely serious cutscene that they showed you. I don't
Yeah,
play Diablo 4. I've got no opinion.
I don't care. I'm very indifferent about Diablo. It is, as Blizzard franchises go, it is, you know, by far and away my least favorite, to the point where it's like I have dabbled in every other Blizzard franchise at least a little bit, you know. I played like 2 hours of WoW with a friend in high school just because they were like, "Look, you should really get into it." And I was like, "This seems good for you. I'm glad you like it, but this just is like I got my fill when I was playing RuneScape when I was 10 years old. I don't need a crutch in my life."
Yeah,
Um, I played Hearthstone quite a bit. I love Hearthstone. I think Hearthstone's pretty great. I watched quite a bit of StarCraft just because I was like, when esports were kicking off, that was like one of the first proper like kind of esports kind of games. So I was like, let me get my
yeah,
head around it. And I was like, I don't understand it. Fair play. But Diablo was always the one where I'm like, I don't care. I just don't.
yeah.
Not my jam.
I played through.
Obviously, I
This is
like this
hilarious,
one. I'm
actually.
wearing a hoodie.
Yeah,
I don't feel like I don't have to talk
like
about Overwatch.
when Diablo 3 came out, like initially, like on the PC, even I played through a character on my brother's computer just to kind of see what was up because
Hmm.
they all really liked Diablo 2 and were super jazzed when 3 came out. And I was like, I played through it the once and I was like, that's cool, sure. And then I ended up picking it up again to play with them when it came to consoles or whatever, in which case it's like, I've done one, and that's all I ever need to do. It's like Borderlands in that way, where I don't really care to ever participate more in it.
Yeah, I feel like yeah. I mean, I've had Diablo 3 been given to me for free. I've had Diablo 4 given to me for free. I'm like, you can keep giving me Diablo. I will not be participating in Diablo at all. But hey ho, people love it. Saw a load of people were happy about Paladin being added. So Godspeed,
Yeah.
Diablo gamers. Godspeed.
The next thing that they showed off was Marvel Rivals is bringing Deadpool in with his very, very bad design.
Yeah, he's got a condom hat. What's with that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway,
it
that's enough.
wasn't
That's all we
very
need to
good.
say, really.
After
Marvel
that was
Rivals.
007. Lenny Kravitz is going to be a bad guy.
Bad
Uh,
trailer. Why show
yeah, it
this?
wasn't very good.
Don't need it. Very excited for 007. Very excited. I will be playing 007 when it comes out, but my goodness, did not need that trailer.
Next up was Lords of the Fallen 2 for a second time because the last one was the second game. Um,
Hmm.
no opinion. Don't care about it.
Yeah, the director of it gives me the ick because he seems to just be a very nasty person. So I'm like, I don't really I was willing to go, oh hey, it's one of those Souls likes that kind of worked out. Cool, I guess. I don't get it, but then just the vibes of that guy just gives me like I'm like, even if it was even if it was all right, I'm like, you've given me the ick now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
After that,
one person should not speak for a whole team, Hunter. One person should not speak for a whole
that's
team.
true. One person
But
shouldn't. That's the
yeah,
trouble of working at Gearbox is you're subject to the mouth of Randy Pitchford.
I think you only have to worry if you. I think you only have to worry if you work at a food establishment anywhere near Gearbox. That's the only time you have to actually worry about Randy Pitchford.
Yeah. Um,
Medieval
Next was
times.
another trailer for Saros, and
Yeah.
oh, this was a good showing for it. I like
It
what
was a
they were putting
delay.
down
It's
here.
that good of a showing. It was
It
a
was a
delay, and we
delay.
didn't
I
realize it.
I didn't I didn't process
Yeah.
that. Like I remember thinking it was weird that it said April because I was like I could have sworn that was like the middle of March,
Yeah.
but I didn't really care to look further into it until the next day when it turns out it was delayed. I'm okay with that. That's not
Yeah,
going to
that's
hurt
fine.
it any. I will show up day one anyway because Returnal ruled and Saros is bound to rule as well.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, I think it's interesting. It seems like I can't remember what her name is. I think her first name is Jane, but the person who played Celine in Returnal seems to be playing a new character in this game, which is fun. Um, yeah, I'm interested. I can't wait. Um, Again, this is like my little, my little beacon of light down at PlayStation Studios, where I'm like, ooh, something I actually
Yeah,
do
they got
care
the
about. I'm excited about this one. Thank you. It's interesting
yeah
that they're bringing back, early access, cringe, hate it, don't know why you're doing it. Um,
yeah. I don't like
Give us
that, but
$20 more so you can play it a couple of days early. Thanks. Um, but they're also bringing back. Someone's noticed in some of the advertisements they're bringing back only on PlayStation. Interesting.
oh, nice.
Um,
Gonna be exclusive to the console for a year.
yeah, I don't like. There were rumblings and rumors that, Xbox is obviously trying to be everywhere, and the rumors were suggesting that Sony is seeing not necessarily they're seeing diminishing returns on the PC front, where when their games were first coming, they were getting a load of sales, and now they're not getting as many. So I think they're easing up a bit. I think you're going to start, we were getting games where it was like 6 months, 12 months. I think you might start seeing it retract a little bit.
I think
Um,
PlayStation is gonna have to play a game where they make you want them on
yeah.
PC instead of just giving them to you. Is the thing they'll be doing here.
Yeah, and I think who knows? Is it wise for them? I think that, I think a Saros would have been like a 6 to 8 months turnaround. It's probably now going to be a 1.5, 2 year turnaround. We'll see. Um, that's one of those ones though. I'm like with Saros, like to me, it's like Returnal was huge on PC. That's the kind of one where I would be like, if they were to say to me that that one was coming day and date to PC, that would have been the one where I was like, that makes sense. But hey,
Yeah.
who knows?
After that, we had No Law, which was from the Ascent developer. The only thing I really remember about this was that the physics on the like kick attack that they had were nice and crunchy.
Yeah, I've got no thoughts or feelings about this one.
Yeah. They spit out another Hitman special target, Mila Jovovich.
They just keep doing it, dude. They just keep.
That's an insane turnaround. Eminem only happened like a week ago.
Yeah, they're busy, keeping 47 busy.
Yeah. Um, After that was Warhammer Total War, which no interest in. We've already discussed how neither of us have the genetics for that one.
Nope.
Uh, Ace Combat 8. I got
Don't have the
uh,
genetics for that either.
no yeah, no interest in that one. Star Wars Galactic Racer came after that. The wind up to this trailer was funny because we were just sitting there saying things until it happened. Where
Yeah.
it was going through the hangar or whatever. And I was like, oh, maybe it's Star Fox. And you were ready to stab me if I had willed another Nintendo IP back into existence.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, good for the people who really like the N64 game. I guess I
I
got
hope it
zero
works better.
interest in it.
I hope it works out better than the Star Wars Squadrons did, because people were like, "Oh, cool! It's like air combat," and then no one bought it. So I was like, "Oh, hopefully pod
Yeah,
racing does better." I don't
I
know.
don't know. I feel like that has a broader appeal just off of
Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out.
you know people like their stupid car tracers, and that's effectively what this is.
Maybe.
After that was the release date trailer for Phantom Blade Zero.
Cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I think this game looks cool.
This is the one game like,
September.
this is one of those games where everyone's sitting there and going, "Oh, this looks sick, I can't wait," and I don't see it, I don't see the vision. I hope, that it's fantastic, and I hope people have a wonderful time with it, but it just does
Yeah.
nothing for me. But, yeah. It's nice for this game to finally have a date. I feel like we've been talking about this game for 7,000,000 years, so
Yeah.
we'll see if it hits it.
Yeah, the September's pretty far in the year, so it's nice and pushable if they need to.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Uh, but I hope next year that'd be just peachy for me.
I know.
After that was the penultimate announcement, which is Mega Man making his grand old return.
The water's wet.
Dual Override is what it's
Yeah.
called.
Yeah, I don't I under here's the thing is, and I completely understand it. I was having this conversation with a friend, uh, just 2 or 3 days ago, really. Um, Number fatigue's real. Final Fantasy's
Yeah,
said that they're starting to consider whether they need to stop calling stuff if the next Final Fantasy will be called Final Fantasy 17. You know, Call of Duty right now is sitting where it's like Black Ops 7, Modern Warfare 4. Like, people are sick of numbers. I think it makes sense for Mega Man to not go with Mega Man 12. I do think that makes sense. As much as it will
yeah.
kill purists to not have it, line up with the rest of them. Yeah, I think it makes sense to just go with it. I mean, it's very early on. That was very early footage. Um,
I still couldn't believe that it said 2027 at the end of that.
how long
I
does it
was like,
take to
"What do
make
you
a Mega Man
mean
game? Did used
for
to make like
that?"
5 of them a year. Um,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the thing about this series that, like, as someone who just kinda has dabbled with various titles here and there and has never really been in it,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
it's always confused me that Capcom just kinda put this on ice. Mega Man seems like it would be prime for the kind of thing that they do with Sonic. And they just kinda throw stuff at the wall every year or 2.
Yeah, I'm glad that this blue platforming icon showed up and not Sonic, to be honest. That was
Yeah.
a nice little change. Sega doing their hardest to not show up this time.
Dude, there's a lot
Ace
of things
Combat
that didn't
was
show up.
Ace Combat was theirs, but I'm honestly shocked. I'm honestly shocked that usually Sonic announces a game at the Game Awards every year like clockwork.
No,
I'm
no.
genuinely shocked that they didn't show anything this year.
Is Ace Combat
Um,
Sega? I thought that was Bandai.
Check the tapes.
Yeah, but it
It is
but yeah,
Bandai.
it's,
I take it back. Yeah, they
yeah,
literally didn't show up. Um,
yeah, but
no Persona, no
yeah, I don't
nothing.
know. Um, I hope the people who have been itching for a Mega Man game like this one, uh, convince your friends to buy it so you get a new one sooner than 10 years later.
They've run out of things to put in Legacy Collection, so they actually have to make some new ones, unfortunately for them.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting, Capcom literally last week were like, we need to focus on some old titles, including Mega Man and Ace Attorney. So I assume that Ace Attorney will be getting a new entry any time now.
Like I said, like, this time last year and going into the beginning of this year, I was expecting one to be announced this year. If I'm being honest with you, it was weird that they just shotgunned 2 collections out the door and then didn't have anything new to show for it.
Yeah, I know,
But
right?
I can be patient.
Hell yeah.
And then the final announcement, big old whiff there. High Guard, made
Flipping
up of a
heck,
bunch
mate.
of former devs from the Respawn.
It was really funny because when he said that it was by a bunch of people that were made from Respawn, I was like, in my head, I'm like, final reveal. What's he doing here? What's the game plan here? And in my head, I was like, oh shoot, are they gonna say that a bunch of people spun out of Respawn to partner with EA to make Titanfall? That was where I was going with it. I was like, oh, because even though for a lot of people, Titanfall won't be a huge thing. The return of Titanfall would be enough where I'm like, oh, that makes sense why Jeff would put that at the end of a show. That makes sense to me because Titanfall has got a really die-hard fan base. Titanfall 2 is one of the best
Yeah.
first-person shooters of that generation. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So I was like, "Oh, this is bring back Titanfall. This kind of makes sense." No, just some random ass battle royale first person shooter, but with fantasy elements to it. And I'm like, "Oh, good."
Yeah, it was a weird one because it took like a full 2 minutes for me to remember that he said that they weren't that they came from Respawn and they weren't
Hmm.
just Respawn making another multiplayer shooter for some reason. Um, it begs the question: how do they think this is gonna go well? Like, the
Don't
market's
care.
already saturated.
No, yeah. I
Also,
think it's
you showed
interesting.
you developed this game in secrecy, apparently, and which
Yeah, yeah.
means no one had a chance to touch it upon this reveal.
Well,
And it's
Jeff
out.
apparently
I
played
don't
quite a bit of it, but
I don't think it looks good for them that this game
no.
is out at the end of January. It's not gonna be pretty,
Well, he
I
said
don't
people will be
think.
playing it in January. I assume that's like a
Is
play
that what they
test, would be
said?
my guess. Yeah.
Okay. I
Um,
thought they were claiming it would be out by then, which would be yikes.
mm,
Uh,
but I don't know. That's what that as weird as it sounds, and it's a completely different gaming landscape now in 2025 as it was 2019. But that's also what they did with Apex Legends. Was they announced it 6 weeks before it came out, and then it was out in January. So they've done it before. Um,
yeah.
I don't know if they're just
I
hoping
don't know.
that it works again, but I don't know. I don't think it will. And it's
It's
definitely not
to me.
suitable. Like, it's not a Jeff Keighley ender. Like, that's not a Game Awards ender. Like, my
This
God,
reminds me of when there was a PSX show that ended on Paragon, that MOBA, that very sauceless MOBA that got canceled a few years
yeah,
afterwards. Where this is what that reminded me of upon
totally.
reflection. Like earlier today, I was like, "What was that game?" I thought for a minute that it had ended a Keeley thing too, but no, it was a PSX, which used to be within the same 24-hour time span. So it's the
Yeah,
difference.
they must like saying they must have given Jeff a ton of money to make that be the final thing because my goodness, it doesn't
And
feel like a
like,
final thing at all.
if it doesn't pan out for them, that's like in hindsight really does suck because they just spent all that money to
Yeah,
market your
totally.
game that people seemingly don't care to play.
Totally. Yeah, it was a bit of a downer to end the show on, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I do sit there now and I look back on it and I go, it's so weird how little stuff actually showed up here that there was some things where we were like, yeah, it makes sense that a lot of stuff's gonna show up here, and it just didn't. Like there was just
Yeah. No word from Xbox on anything.
which, you know, again, we were sitting there and we're like, hey, Jeff Keighley usually has the Crash and Spyro stuff. Maybe it's finally time. And Xbox just decided we're not showing anything, even stuff that we've got dated for early next year. We're not showing anything. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because they've got a dev
Yeah, like,
direct coming
they
in
put
January. So
uh,
they're obviously doing their own thing there. Because even Matt Booty's on there going, hey, Forza Horizon is going to be at the dev direct in January, which confirms it's out in the first half of next year. And I'm like,
yeah.
that's crazy. You're not even doing a trailer for Forza Horizon. That's mental. Again, Sega, nothing from Sega at all. We were sitting there going,
I don't
oh, they'll probably at least, very worst, they show a Sonic game. But, they've got
Yeah,
Crazy Taxi, they've got Jet Set Radio, Persona 4 Revival, which is supposed to be out next year. Um,
yeah.
got more info from that from Nate the Hate than we did from Sega. Like, my God.
The,
Um,
no word from Valve about their, little magic box.
I mean, with the RAM prices and everything like that at the moment,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
blame
maybe
them.
maybe they're gonna kick that down the road a little while.
Maybe a little bit, or they're just waiting for their own time to announce it. It was a very weird one, to be honest with you. Like I say, nothing too interesting. Like even Control Resonant. We already knew Control 2 was in development. We've known for a while that it was in development.
Yeah.
Even the Pillars thing, not Pillars, even the Divinity
Divinity.
thing. We knew Divinity was coming because someone looked at the trademarks 3 days beforehand, so they'd figured it out. It was
Yeah.
like there was nothing that was a surprise here. Like, there genuinely was very little to be like, "Oh, wow, that's crazy." It was just kinda like, "Oh, there's
Yeah, like,
Resident there's
the thing
Leon, there's this,
yeah, it's
there's
like
that."
Mega Man caught me off guard mostly because I forgot about reading the Capcom thing,
Yeah,
or like they said Mega Man in it, and I paid more attention to the Ace Attorney and
of course
Devil
you
May
do.
Cry part of their equation there. But,
Yeah. But no, it was very, it was a very middling showing really from reveals. Again, I feel like this is gonna be a lot this is just gonna be what it's like now until GTA does finally land. There's gonna be a lot of
ugh,
people who are just avoiding. They're avoiding announcements, they're avoiding dates. It's gonna be
which is
interesting.
which is annoying and insane because like there's an entire year of runway still.
I'm telling you, dude. I am extreme. Well, here's the thing, Hunter. Is I'm very interested to see what the January and February direct Xbox showcases and the first state of play of the year. I'm very interested what those have because I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of stuff in the April to September timeframe next year, and then there's
Yeah.
going to be nothing in October and November and December. Like I think that's how it's going to play out.
Yeah,
Um,
like, and short of having a game done and holding on to it like Nintendo likes to do, I don't expect that anything will go in October. Uh, because if you have to, or if it does go, or if they get a date for it and it needs delayed, it's just going to go into the next year.
I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen is because you got the end of October, you've got Red Dead, you got GTA. I wish you got GTA 6.
I wish, yeah.
Um, Call of Duty's going to do what they did with Red Dead 2, where they push back from November to mid October, so they'll go 2 weeks beforehand. So people will then be double scared because they'll be like, "Oh, well, there you go." In theory, the two biggest games of the year, revenue wise, are both going to be out within a week of each other, 2 weeks of each other. Um, and then no one's going to go in November. Nintendo probably
Save
will.
us
Nintendo
Pokemon
will have a
Generation
Pokemon
10.
game. Yeah, Pokemon will have Gen 10. But with those three, that's three huge
That
games and
is
three huge
literally everything,
IPs.
yeah.
Um,
So,
so yeah, it'll be interesting, but hey, oh well. Not every Jeffmas can be a good Jeffmas, you know.
this felt like one of the early shows, but stretched out into 3 hours, and that's not a good feeling.
Yeah, I mean, there's always off years. There's always off years. It's always going to be like that. Maybe next year
Yeah,
be a bit better.
maybe.
Maybe we'll see. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave it there. Um, that is our show. Thank you ever so much for watching. I will, if I can find the many. Oh my god, I cannot find the tab. There it is. Links on screen right now. My stream deck isn't working, so I couldn't do the doodly doos the way I usually do. Do. Um, yeah. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last live show of the year. We have got a bunch of episodes coming your way. Don't you worry, we're not missing a week. We have got, like I say, topics galore from random box arts to tier lists to game of the year discussions from our perspective, obviously, to fantasy drafts to so much more. There'll be plenty in the interim, so you're not gonna miss us. We're not going anywhere. Um, I did want to end this show very quickly, Hunter, because we don't mention it next week. Next week is our 300th episode. So I did just kind of want to end this episode by saying thank you. 300 is a crazy number. I don't think it's a number that I ever expected to reach, to be honest. I think I said that about 100 and 200, but 300 is absolutely insane. It's an insane number of episodes. To think that every episode is at least an hour, that is at least 300 hours of this podcast. And I can tell you for
Oh
a
my
fact,
god.
it's a lot more than that. Um,
Yeah.
it's crazy, and the fact that there are plenty of you who have been listening since the very beginning. The fact that people still do listen to this podcast after 6 years is crazy. Um, our little Spotify Wrapped or whatever came up, and it was like, yeah, you've increased your listeners by like 70% this year or something like that. I'm like, that's
That's
crazy that
insane.
people still listen to us. So thank you. I do appreciate it. 300 is a big number. I can't promise 300 more, but I do very much appreciate that we have, made a lot of this, and you guys have been there to watch and support. It's been a good time. Anything you want to add, Hunter?
No, it's insane numbers. Didn't really expect to be doing this far along either. But, now it's just part of the routine.
Yeah.
Record a podcast on a weekend, same as breathing, pretty much.
Yeah. It's been a really fun time. And to celebrate, this was not intentional, but to celebrate episode 300, I will give you a tease. Kyle is back next week for episode 300. So if you've been missing Kyle, as he's been on his break for quite a big chunk of this year, he is back
He comes
next week.
back for special occasions.
He's back next week to talk all about terrible N64 box art. So if that sounds like, ooh, that's how I want to spend my Christmas, we've got you covered. Don't you worry. Bless up. Episode 300, everybody. It's a Christmas miracle. Yeah. Watch it with your parents. Watch it with your family. Watch it with your siblings. Just
watch it with your neighbor. Spread the joy with everybody.
Yeah.
Go Christmas caroling, but just carry around our podcast in a boombox.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
I think you'd get arrested.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, 300 episodes, mental. Anyway, join us next week for a very funny episode. It's actually a really good episode. I'm happy that it's episode 300. After we recorded it, I was like, that's a good episode. And then actually doing the math and going, oh my god, that's the 300th. That's what we're doing. Okay. It's a fun one. So I hope you enjoy it. It's better than the Game Awards 2025. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Better reveals. Anyway. We'll leave it there. Thank you ever so much for listening and watching for the past 299 episodes. We'll be back, same time, same place next week to do a 300th. But until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Doodaloo.